viewed us on Facebook, or you viewed us via the World Wide Web at www.gbn.gd, or via our Facebook page. Again, good morning, Mr. Bagwan, Constable Fraser, and Lady Marion. Welcome to the program. Let's talk to me. St. David's, the lone parish without without a capital, but of course you have some wonderful people up there, and the police is doing a really wonderful job to make sure the safety of everybody in that area. But there's always interesting things happening, so I'm going to kick things off with Mr. Fraser, with Mr. Isaac. Sorry, Mr. Isaac, it's good to see you again. Tell me, I know whenever you're on, there's always something exciting happening. What's happening in your neck of the woods, Mr. Bagwan, as it relates to the advisory board from St. David's?
Thank you very much for having us on the program, Isaac Bagwan. I am part of the St. David's Citizen Advisory Board, commonly called the CAB. It is a voluntary. So we come together from the different villages to be of support to the police in the execution of its duties. So we advocate on issues affecting the police themselves. We also advocate principally on issues affecting the community. And of course, there are a wide variety of problems.
We seem to be having some connectivity issues with Mr. Bagwan.
To seek the police intervention in a number of things that they're doing.
Mr. Bagwan, I'm not sure if you heard me about this. There seems to be having some connectivity issue with you on your end. I'm not sure if it's possible you may want to disconnect and terminate the connection and try to re-engage us. In the meantime, though, I'll probably switch the conversation over while we're waiting Mr. Bagwan. We switch the conversation over to Constable Fraser and Lady Marriott. So Mr. Bagwan sort of set the tone for what is it, where the conversation is going to lead. So he spoke about the St. David's Citizens Advisory Committee and Board, and it is my understanding that it's a support arm of the St. David's Police Department. Let's talk about the importance of that advisory board and how it helps you, the Royal Grenadier Police Force, especially in St. David's, in terms of executing your daily roles and functions as members of the Royal Grenadier Police Force. Constable?
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me on the program. Well, the Citizen Advisory Board and the Sunday and the police is like a marriage, it's a union. So we deal with the law enforcement part of it, and the Citizen Advisory Board, as much as possible, there is a member from each community represented on the Citizen Advisory Board. So they would advise the police as to things that goes on in their community, and the police would implement strategies how they would better provide good service to these communities.
That advisory board, how long has it been functioning?
That advisory board has been functioning since 2013. Since 2013.
And you said it represents persons from the varying communities. They come together. What are some of the pertinent issues that affects St. David's that marriage seeks to address?
Well, the traffic, the accident situation, the traffic situation, the issues of petty crimes. Petty crimes.
So accidents, petty crimes. Let's focus back on the accidents. Because there seems to be a growing concern, not just in St. David, because I don't want to necessarily point on any specific region, but there is a growing concern from us in the media that the increasing number of road accidents that occurs on the nation roads, and in more recent times you've had some along that eastern corridor. I know what I'm saying, the eastern corridor, not necessarily in St. David's. How much of a concern is that for you? And let's talk about literally what role and some of the activities that you get engaged in so as to curb that ever-growing concern.
Well, the CAB had a traffic forum at the current government school. So the CAB saw that there was a need for addressing the traffic situation, accidents, everything. and there was a traffic forum done at the current government school together with the police. So that's one of the things that the CAB and the police they have done to help curb that accident situation. There was presentation from the fire department, the district medical doctor, and even the traffic officer from the traffic department, they were present. So we outsourced persons, experts to come and lecture in that forum.
And can you say that based on those the activities that you've been having, that you've seen a positive response from road users?
Yes, we have seen a positive response from road users. Also, based on the amount of accidents, well, we see now we have the traffic wardens. That's one of these reasons why they were to patrol. So it serves as a deterrent to road users, because a lot of the accidents they are caused by the use of the cell phones. People not paying attention to the road.
I guess it brings up the whole question of, do you care and attention on the road?
That is correct. Driving with education and attention.
Lady Marriott, it is often said that, and if you could probably just shift across a bit, thank you. Right. It is often said, I know you would probably agree with us, that a lot of these infringements on the road, it tends to be infringements that is carried out by your male counterparts. Now when I say counterparts, not necessarily the police force, but women are generally seen as the safer ones on the road. Let's talk about that. And in your involvement, the sort of roles that you play as a lady police officer to ensure that the whole. No, you're not. Are you an officer?
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. I just said I'm like, no, she's not. She isn't an officer. I'm like, well, how come I don't know her face? Yeah, believe me, I know most of the officers. Yeah. And you didn't have a police face. Yeah. Right. So let's talk about that. Your role, your involvement as a female to address those concerns. Because there's often said that women tend to be the more level-headed ones. Your thoughts and everything, the advisory board, that relationship and the role that it serves, and how do you see yourself in improving the relationship and addressing some of those concerns that Constable Fraser brought to the fore?
A pleasant good morning. Thanks for having me here. And what you're saying, basically, we look at women as the most safer ones on the road.
Okay.
Right? We are more level-headed. In terms of the male intend to get carried away out of hand. In terms of driving, alcohol is one. Lack of not paying attention on the road is one. Person that newly get licensed is one. Road rage, speeding, to name a few.
As the advisory board, because you've gone through a long list there, and as a lady, you talk about the women being more level-headed. Let's talk about the advisory board and its trust and commitment to ensuring. What are some of the practical things, of course, you would want to see that's done, not just within St. David's, but across the Tri-Island state, so to keep road users to address the concerns of accidents and keeping the road safe here in Grenada?
We need to implement more road signs, right? Speed bumps on the road.
Oh God, you all paying them when you all put them, boy? What?
Please, yes, we will.
Why do you want the issue of speed bumps, though? Let me ask you, Constable. And it is not one that happened in but as we hear, there is a government project in the Springs area. And there was a lot of concerns from persons who planned the road. I left home in the morning, it was easy breezy. Headed home the night after night, and out of nowhere, you hit 2 speed bumps, and that is literally, they're like brothers and sisters holding hands in the middle of the night. Talk to me about that. Constable Fraser, without making anybody look bad.
Those speed
if you
bumps,
can.
they're not asphalt because I even ran over them just as you.
Oh, you did?
On a motorist. I did. I did. They're made out of mud, so I believe the contractor placed them there as a preventative measure for the workmen because they're made out of mud.
So that was
I
not
believe that,
okay. So that has nothing to do with the wrongdoing of the police force.
no, that has nothing to do with the police force or the Ministry of Works.
But you certainly would agree that it calls for greater collaboration between the two. Because if I hit a speed bump, I am not thinking workmen I saw digging the morning before. My response is like, well, what is wrong with these policemen? So I'm happy that you've actually cleared that up, because very often a lot of persons they make negative comments, reasonably, but out of ignorance. Because I honestly thought that it was the police. Because I'm thinking any sort of speed bumps, anything I find on the road, that it is the role of the Royal Grenadier Police Force to have them installed.
No, the police force would advise and make recommendations. The Ministry of Works, Transportation and Works, they are the ones who would actually put down the speed bumps.
I'm happy we.
Force only advise and make recommendations.
I'm happy that that the recommendation was in fact, but believe me, that one hit me the night, Papa Bonjay. Yeah, it had my head spinning. So Marriott, at least we're making progress that the speed bumps are being implemented. I get the sense though, do you get the sense that we talk about road rage and persons how their mental capacity dealing with things on issues on the road, and we have a younger driving populace. Is that one of the concerns that you have as an advisory body and the Royal Grenadier Police Force working together?
Yes, we do.
But it also boils down to a level of maturity, because a few years ago we know that the mature folks, the elder folks, are the ones driving. Now we have people straight out of high school, 18 years. They have a driver's license, they have a vehicle. So it all boils down to the level of maturity among persons.
Okay, I wouldn't want to. Okay, fine. Okay, I don't want to drill it too much. You have activity. So the Citizens Advisory Board partnering with the St. David's Police Force unit and the idea is for greater collaboration. And as part of that marriage, you do engage in public different activities and so on. Let's talk, Mr. Bagwan. I think I saw you popped back up. And I think I did accept you in, Mr. Bagwan.
Yes. I'm back in.
You are here, and we hear you much better now. Let's talk about that relationship and some of the activities that you have in the pipeline that comes as part of that relationship between the advisory board and the police.
Okay, as the name suggests, citizen advisory, we look at different aspects of the community, different sectors of the society. Of course, you have the elderly, you have the middle age, you have the young people, and so the message that have to go across is a different message based on the audience. And for the past 2 years, we've been doing an activity called a luncheon for the senior citizen. Of course, we recognize that during the Christmas season, we have quite a number of voluntary organizations, even the MPs for the area, they would do this Christmas sample. And so we thought of, as a gesture to do something, we would do a luncheon for the senior citizen. And the idea is to identify senior citizens, bring them together in one venue and prepare a lunch for them and get them to socialize, speak about the day, speak just friendship, and just to socialize. And so we've been having this activity for the past 2 years. Of course, we intend to do it this year. We've carried it for the 10th of December. However, because of course COVID, and you cannot bring these people together, and of course they're a vulnerable group, what we have decided to do this year around, we do a bit Meals on Wheels, in the sense that we would actually go to the resident, the senior citizen, and deliver it to them. So that is the intent this year. For the past 2 years, the first year we decided to cater for a 60 person, we end up with 80. The second year we said we'll do 80, we end up with 110 persons. And of course this year we're looking at another 80 again. But of course we'll prepare extra. So the idea is to prepare a well-balanced meal. Of course, we don't want the senior citizen to indulge too much in sweets, but we would have a dessert that is more in keeping with not being too sweet, so that we'll deliver to them as a token of appreciation for, you know, being senior citizen, for the services that they have rendered to society, and to just deliver to them. Of course, we would miss the interaction, which is a great part of the activity, but this is the intent for this year.
How important is it, that interaction you get from the senior citizens? Because very often, as a society, we place a lot of folks, a lot of attention on the working class, the younger individuals. But the senior individuals, they play a real critical role in terms of even the advice. I mean, being able to connect, and those activities, it allows for connecting across different generations, doesn't it?
Certainly, and there's a tendency in that we tend to park senior citizens on the side, say that they have made the contribution and they have nothing else to do. But they have a lot to share, a lot of experiences, and young people think that they're the inventor of everything these days. You know, any prank or any, you know, scheme, they think that they're the inventor of it. But these things happened in the past. So it is very important to share these ideas, you know, growing up in school, growing up in the community, what it was like then as compared to now. And of course, the senior citizens, I recall some of them lamenting the fact that, you know, the disrespect for senior persons, the lack of caring, the breakdown in society in terms of there is not a sense of community spirit that is existing anymore. And that is of concern to them. And of course, the whole issue of their own security. You know, people want to feel safe in their homes. You know, and with the thing that is happening around, they feel vulnerable. And one of the things that the CAB wants to do is to give them that assurance, so that the police, one of the things that the St. Davis Police is doing is that on a weekly basis, they do this community work and to touch base with these citizens. Because what you find happening is that there are a lot of lonely people out there, a lot of lonely senior persons. And they just need a call out, a shout out. They may need some help with something, but we tend to not care. And that is the whole idea, to, you know, engage with them some more.
Let me ask Constable Fraser. I know in recent times the Royal Grenada Police Force has been on a drive to improve its relationship with the public. And I'm certain that CAB and other involvements across the Tri-Island state, it's directly or indirectly a part of that initiative, Constable Fraser?
Yes, the marriage between the CAB and the police is part of the police force strategic plan to do a greater engage in community relation. So that is that. So the CAB basically is a child of that, the police force community engagement, community policing. Because in this day and age, we hear great talks about community policing, and that is the drive and that is the direction that the commissioner wants the force to be heading, to create that bond between the community and the police, to fill that gap.
As a young officer, are you feeling the direct impact of that relationship, that it is working? And would you say it is should serve as a prototype that should be established across the different regions, the different units of the Royal Grenada Police Force, Central, Northern, wherever you are? You think that should become a constant staple in all?
Yes, it is working. I can testify for St. Davis Police Station. After the yearly comparison was done between 2018 and 2019, they saw that there was a significant reduction in the amount of reports made to the station, amount of offenses that occurred in the communities. And when they looked at St. Davis Police Station closely, they realized that St. Davis had a very vibrant community policing program. where you would go out there, you would meet people, you would engage people. Because a lot of times things happen in the community, they're not reported to the police, and people take the law in their own hands. By the police going out there and engaging those people, people will tell you stuff, and you can sort of mitigate and, what I say, dissolve the problem instead of it escalating. So the community policing initiative, it is working, and I think it should be implemented by all stations and departments that can implement it. They should. It's working.
Marriott, very often it is easier. Some would argue that these sort of initiatives, it is easier to get the mature, the middle-aged, the older folks. They tend to see the virtue of it. Young people, they always seem to be hesitant. I don't want to mingle. As a young lady yourself, what sort of advice or what kind of things you think that can be done to add to the virtue that already exists in the relationship between CAB and the police force in St. David's? And let's say that is probably specific to ladies, because more and more, we talked about road rage, but more and more there's a lot more ladies. I'm not sure what the stats are, but there's a lot more women on the road.
That is true.
So I was asking you, from the context, we raised the issue of road rage. We talked about people not driving with due care and attention. As an advisory body, we talked about the success. Where do you see that relationship going 2011, 2022, and what would you personally want to see out of it?
I see it going very far. Right? We need more cooperation with the drivers and the police. We need to form more a relationship. Huh?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
We need to form a relationship. We need to be more mindful of the drivers out there. We need to listen. We need to listen to the drivers out there, because at the end of the day, they are the ones that is feeling it.
When you say listen to them in what sense? But they're the ones that's breaking the laws. Why do you need to listen to them? When you say listen,
not necessarily breaking the laws, but sometimes you need to listen to what they have to say.
Right.
Sometimes it's something very small, but it can escalate if you're not listening. Right? Sometimes it's like traffic.
Okay.
Like a police and okay, like rush hour traffic.
Right.
Right? And the next thing too, I want to see a reduction in the senseless accidents, especially the bus drivers.
I want you to break it down for me. Senseless accidents. What are some of the everyday things that constitutes to really and truly senseless accidents on the nation's road as we wind down the conversation?
Reckless driving, speeding, abrupt stopping in the road.
Oh, good Lord!
Stopping.
Tell us, busman, about that.
Lack of signal.
But
yes, and lack of proper signal or indicating.
But Constable Fraser, would you see that as an indictment against the drivers, or is it a failure of the Royal Grenada Police Force to ensure? Because to get your license, there is a strict adherence to the highway code, and if you don't do a proper hand signal, they fail you. But often for me, I've been concerned with is as though once I get my license, it's paid, and I get the stamp, you get the sense that it's almost like liberty. They throw the highway code out of the equation. So is it a failure of the Royal Grenada Police Force to ensure that all drivers adhere? So instead, of course, there's a lot of focus on drivers not, let's say, using the bus, appropriate or inappropriate use of the bus stop. But should there be a greater focus on concentration on those who probably don't even use the proper hand signal indicators and all and all these sort of things? Because those are very often are the issues that lead to what Margaret referred to as the senseless accidents on the road.
I must agree with you, because from the time a person is going to get their driver's license, they follow the highway code and the road traffic act to a T.
Yes.
They get this stamp of approval, everything is just thrown out of the window. And I think every individual should make that conscious effort and hold themselves accountable for what continue. It's not just for getting a license. It is something that you learn the highway code, the road traffic act. As long as you are using of the road, you should follow it. So I think that comes down to personal choice and personal decision. So we cannot blame the Royal Grenade of police force, because the police, they're not everywhere.
Well, no. Now, get me when I say I'm blaming the police force. I'm blaming the police force because if you ask there's a busman. You ask a busman, I'm keeping my eyes on the clock, but they may probably most likely get a ticket for what? Average.
They get taking on and setting down a passenger, defective tire.
Those sort of things. They're probably within the town of St. George and they decide to pick up somebody. Am I wrong? I see it. Obstruction. They do those things. But very often, the very basics that drivers should be employing, the use of the signals, hand signal, very, you even see a lot of drivers now, they drive in with their glass up, they would pull up on the bus stop, they just take off. And so I'm thinking if a greater effort is also made to penalize them for failure to adhere to the very basic teachings that they were given, that the license afforded them. And I also know that you have one of the systems in place, the ticketing system, that allows for demerit and all of that. Just the other day I was saying to a gentleman, a colleague of mine, but is that still in place?
It is still in place, but it is not enforced as it ought to be enforced.
That's the point. That's where we agree 100%. And it's on that basis I said, that's where I think, that's where the conversation needs to start. That the police literally, I don't care whether you're 18, 21, or 69, and you're on the road. That's where we need to have those conversations. That if the road users understand that you're going to be penalized for failure, to indicate that you are going to slow down. For failure, you're coming from a minor, and you need to understand what the highway code says in moving from a minor into a major. I think that while the police, you officers have done an excellent job, I'm subscribing today that maybe greater emphasis should be placed on that. Not just the issue of the picking up and dropping of passengers, but also failure to adhere to the highway code on a daily use when you're applying the nation's road. But
one point on the driving issue.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to advocate for the issue of defensive driving across the board, not only with the bus drivers, because we know that our drivers are younger drivers, but not only that, our vehicles also currently are automatic and faster. So I want to advocate that defensive driving across the board should be a requirement to get your license and to re-engage bus drivers accordingly in this regard. Defensive driving has a whole theory and practice attached to it, and that's something I want to advocate. Defensive driving.
Officer, I'm not sure if this comes between your direct line of work. Is there anything you could probably just offer for the next 2 minutes on the whole issue of defensive driving? Or I'm not sure if Mr. Bagwan probably just wants to share on that, maybe as a member of the advisory committee, the whole conversation with defensive driving. What in fact is defensive driving? Because most guys, they think driving is what they see when they're watching Too Fast and Too Furious. Yeah.
Well, defensive driving starts from the concept, from the time you enter your vehicle, in terms of making sure that the vehicle is safe, making sure that your tires, the wipers, the horn, etc., before you move off, the basic things that you do, but more so a consciousness on the road in terms of the same thing that we have been speaking about, road signals, anticipating what would happen or most likely to happen So you're driving, as Marriott have indicated, that you're driving with your juki and attention. You know that you're approaching a school. You know that you're approaching a pedestrian crossing. You notice that traffic is piling up. These are the things that you have to anticipate, that you have to begin to slow down. You have to begin to give way. So these are the kind of things in terms of defensive driving. All that goes along with the highway code, but just being a level of consciousness as to what most likely would happen, because we know the road. We drive on the road every day. We know sometimes where the speed bumps and the potholes are, but we see vehicles park up also along the roadside. So we have to anticipate that most likely someone is speeding up, and they would think that, and they have the right of way, but somebody have to give way. That is where the courtesy comes in, in this regard. So it is encompassing all of these things, and awareness that you have a machine in your hand, and you have to be aware as to your control, the speed, and its capability, but at the same time anticipating that someone else will do something foolish, and you got to prepare to get on, you got to prepare to stop, you got to prepare to give way in some instances.
Well said,
in a nutshell.
Well said, Mr. Bangham. Before we wrap, though, I want to just take the conversation back to Constable Fraser and Lady Marriott, just to take 30 seconds each to offer some last sentiments.
Well, coming up on the program in the Christmas season, as you say, and during the Christmas season, we see there are surging accidents. I would want to implore and encourage and urge and beg road users, please be careful on the nation's road. Please be careful.
Marriott, speak to the ladies. Or maybe as a lady, speak to the men. They probably could listen to you.
I share the same sentiment with Officer Fraser here. Now, just be mindful on the road. Look out for who's not looking out for you. Pay attention. And just remember, we're in a Christmas season. Things do happen around this time of the year.
Indeed. Thank you, lady. Thank you, gentlemen and lady. We were speaking there to Officer Constable Fraser from the St. David's Police Station, and a conversation with members of the Citizens Advisory Board, and they were talking about that marriage that is there between the two, and also get us up to speed on some of their plans for the holidays. You are being encouraged, road users, not just those of you using the Eastern Corridor, but once you're using the nation's road, due care and attention. You hear it every day. The holidays are coming up, if you have to go to social activities, you intend to consume alcohol, make sure there is a designated driver. And as you on the road, reminding you, the use of your mask is important, and implore you, the busmen in particular, that have noticed that as a culture where you seem to have already given up the whole idea of social distancing in the buses, and even the use of sanitization. At the end of the day, we all have to play our part to ensure that we maintain the low number of infection that we have here in the country. Thank you again, my dear lady and gentlemen. All the best. Wishing you for the holidays, peace and love, and thanks for being part of the program.
Thank you much.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you.
Offers quality foods at affordable prices. Now, with our improved web store, you can make all your purchases from the comfort of your home. It's so simple, easy to log in and navigate, safe and secure transactions, and a quick checkout. All your grocery needs at your fingertips. Convenient and reliable. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
When you need your prescription filled or you require non-prescribed medication, supplements, or all your personal needs, visit Gittins Healthcare at locations on Wall Street, Grand Anse, Victoria Street, Grenville, and Central Deputy Street, Wall. Gittins Healthcare aims to provide an exceptional personalized pharmacy experience. Additionally, children under 5 and adults 55 years and over will enjoy 10% discount on purchases of $20 and over on prescription medication. Stop settling for less. Visit Gittins Healthcare, where your health is our priority. Ace and Napper means getting help when you walk through the door. Ace and Napper is variety and quality at the right price. Ace and Napper has everything you will need for the household, for your lawn and patio. Even the highest quality paints, beautifying your home inside and outside. Just the right building supplies you need. And Napper providing the best in automotive supplies and accessories. The guarantee is we are so much more than a hardware store. Ace and Napper on the Morris Bishop Highway and Cross Street in the city. Ace will always be the helpful place.
Ladies, it's time to slay. Get the look you want with Sarah's Hair and Beauty Supply. Now open on Benton Street in Grenville. Braids, extensions, weaves, wigs, and more. All the latest products from the brands you love at one great location. Opening hours Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6. You want it, we got it for all hair types. Sarah's Hair and Beauty Supply. We are the one-stop hair shop.
Feel good tax. Remember, if you have flu symptoms, do the right thing and stay at home to avoid giving it to others. Remember, you can be infectious up to a week after developing symptoms, so rest up and take it easy.
COVID-19 spreads from person to person through the droplets that are produced when someone coughs or sneezes, which makes it easy to spread between people in close contact. Now let's get prepared to stay healthy. To reduce your chance of catching or spreading COVID-19, practice these simple everyday preventative measures. Droplets can also land on surfaces, so ensure that you wash your hands frequently for a minimum of 20 seconds or sing the happy birthday song twice. Avoid touching your face, especially your eyes, nose, and mouth. If soap and water are not readily available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with an alcohol content between 60 and 90%. 70% is ideal. When you cough or sneeze, cover your nose and mouth with a flexed elbow or a tissue.